There we go. Joe, thank you for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Fantastic. So we've been working together for about 2 years now, I think it's coming
Yeah,
up
it's
to.
coming up to two
Might even
years,
gone up
yeah,
to that.
which has gone really quickly, isn't it?
It has gone really quickly. I remember when you came to the office first time and we had a walk through all the plans and everything like
Mm.
that. But what we'll do is we'll start with if you just introduce yourself and the project that we've been working on together. We'll ask a few questions from there.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Joe Baily, and I'm the founder of a new brand, a new app, a new movement called Orbiter.
Great. So what sort of problem or gap did you notice in the market that led to this particular startup
Yeah.
idea?
So it does actually span back quite a few years, actually. So I'm I'm of a generation when we actually received the National Record of Achievement, which was a very red, horrible red colour faux leather folder that was sent out to schools, and ultimately it was just to allow students in those times to be able to record their achievements because I think there is so much good stuff that's done nowadays, and people don't actually recognise it as a skill, as an achievement, and so it sort of started. My thought process started from that. I couldn't actually find my old folder, and I was after one of my old certificates that I had, and so that got me thinking. But then also, I used to run a digital marketing agency, so I'm an entrepreneur. I founded a company called Generate UK back in 2007, and during that time, I interviewed many people. I managed and employed many people, account managers through to web developers, designers, SEO experts, you know, anything in and around the digital and development market. And I found that the interview process that we adopted had to really evolve quite quickly because we I didn't particularly like using recruitment consultants at the time because a they were expensive, and b certainly for a small business trying to grow, they often gave me candidates that weren't really in line with exactly what my business wanted and who would fit culturally as well as from a skills perspective. So we adopted our own recruitment process, which took longer. It was quite time laborious, if I'm honest, and ultimately, though, it did render good results because we did good vetting, etc., etc. But the whole process was just quite painful, and I often had people come into the office, and they would we would interview them, and it was quite hard to extract. I always found it hard to extract lots of information that I wanted to find out about that person within sort of a half hour, 45 minutes using a paper CV. I just found the whole thing quite sterile. Um, and the best interview I had was with a lady who came in who was a designer, and she literally came in with a suitcase full of her work and just literally plonked it on the desk and started pulling out lots of great work that she'd done. Really excited, infused. It was very visual, and I'm quite a visual person. So, from my perspective, I think that there was an opportunity to try to create like a career passport where candidates can build their profile and showcase their skills and store their skills, like journal their career throughout their life cycle, really. And then we got thinking about, well, actually, Gen Zs have multiple different career paths, like lots of different jobs, different setups. So why not have multiple profiles? So we then adopted, and obviously through discussions with yourself, we adopted multiple profiles where someone can actually be a dancer, but also be an engineer,
Hmm.
and also be, a footballer. So it it started taking shape, and then yeah, that was really the basis of the app itself and the idea. And generally with young people now, they're younger people, certainly younger than me. There is a skill shortage. AI is also taking off, and I think there's a lot of anxiety amongst younger people that they actually don't realise how AI is going to affect their careers moving forward, as well as you know the economy. There's got anxiety around finances. There's lots of anxiety in the
Mm.
room at the moment, and I wanted to create something that actually empowers younger people to start that process and feel really good about themselves and showcase their talents in a different way to ultimately just what a CV does.
Yeah.
And yeah, the recruitment market is very AI driven now, so it's all very keywords, and you're lucky even to get a CV moved to the next stage of the recruitment process
Mm.
because the amount of AI generated CVs that are coming into the marketplace now as well. So there's a multitude of reasons why I believe that Orbiter is the disruptor in the market, which I hope it will be one day. Um, but yeah, that hopefully that sort of answers some of your questions.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we had quite a few early conversations before committing and moving forward. So at what point did you feel the idea was serious enough for you to invest the time and invest the money into actually getting it built?
Um, yes, good question. I think ultimately it's about drawing on sort of I it's double edged sword really because you ask your friends, family about what they believe, and they all go, "Yeah,
Mm.
it's an amazing idea. It's a really good idea." Blah blah blah, and you think, "Yeah, that's good," but are they just saying it because they're your friends and family, or are they not? And so you know, ultimately, I was speaking to businesses, I was speaking to educators, I was speaking to potential users, and I felt that I had sp- spoke spoken to enough people and had a clear vision in my head about what Orbiter could be, and I think common, along with the sale of my business, so I exited my business in 22, and then I engaged with you. I think it was towards the end of 23, going into 24, and and that's when you know I had some capital to be able to take the leap and start the process.
Fantastic. And in terms of the process with us, how has that been sort of so far? How have you found working together, get the idea launched?
Yeah, it's been great, and it's been it's been good because it's been a challenge along the way, and I think you've challenged some of the ideas as well,
Mm.
and I think having that is good because you know ultimately I run a development agency and marketing agency in the past as well, so you know, I wanted to find a company that that challenged us and challenged me in terms of the idea and not just be yes people
Mm.
and take the money type of thing. So that was important. I think I came at it with also quite a sort of clear understanding of wireframing and so on because I'd worked with a contact who was a sort of UX designer to wireframe some of that journey, and obviously that journey has changed since that initial wireframe that we produced that I came to the office with to show you, and then you took that on
Mm.
and brought it sort of to life, and at that point obviously challenged some of that journey with us, and even now I don't think we've got it 100% right, but you know it's an MVP, yeah. So that the whole basis of it is to get it out into the marketplace and get a good test of it, and really the next stage is that product market fit to make sure that it does fit the market, and there will be
Mm.
reiterations of it. I'm sure that we'll be working on in the future when it starts getting some decent traction.
Yeah, yeah, it's constantly evolving, isn't it? It's one of those things we've been through so many different iteration cycles, and it's kind of a normal process is just tweaks and changes, and how do we improve it in line with feedback. So it's been good to see how open, obviously, you've been with feedback and allowing me to push back on
Mm.
and challenge ideas as well. You know, sometimes it's with experienced people like yourself, you take that as a positive, and that's the great thing about why we work with experienced people is because they take that
Yeah.
as part of the process and not as criticism. So that's good to see. So, in terms of your previous business, Generate, and obviously now launching a tech product,
Mm.
what's the biggest challenge or difference you see in terms of building a digital product versus obviously like a service business?
Yeah, massive. Because yeah, as you said, we were a service based business. So what I'm doing now, I always said to myself, I like a challenge, and it's probably the biggest challenge that I've taken on professionally in terms of from a career perspective. Generate and it being a service based business. Don't get me wrong, it was hard. I actually co-founded it, and then I carried on running the business after a buyout, but. This is a whole new different beast, and I'm doing sort of started it sort of really on my own. So that was always comes with challenges because being able to bounce ideas off people and sort of just a general churn that you've got to try to think about across every aspect of that business, which is what I enjoy. Don't get me wrong, but it can be quite a lonely journey as well as a tough journey to do, which I'm still learning. Had a seminar this morning all about sort of funding because that's the part where we're at the moment, and that process itself has taken is a journey, and that's a full-time job, which is interesting. So yeah, completely different beast, and I'm definitely not an expert in it. I'm learning as fast as I can to move forward and move Orbiter to that next stage of its journey, really. And one of the things I think that's been the biggest learn is that there's probably a lot of people out there that got an idea and then they can start and they think, oh, I'm going to bring this to life, and they might do that. But actually, and then they think, oh, I'm going to start getting revenue in straight away, and I'm going to do this, that, and it doesn't happen that quickly. And I'm an impatient business owner founder who wants things to happen so quickly, but
Mm.
unfortunately it doesn't work like that, and you need to be patient. You need to sort of don't be so hard on yourself, and you need to learn that every part of the journey is a process, and there's a lot of work that goes into every part of that journey, and we're only really at the beginning, and we've been sort of nearly 2 years in, which from design to wireframing, concept design, wireframing,
Mm.
engagement with yourself, to building it, and then sort of a lot of testing last year, and that can't be underestimated as well. And that's quite a difficult process because you've got to try to get the product tested into the hands of your user audience. And we've got
Mm.
different users. We've got the business users, but we've also got the actual users of Orbiter itself, and that takes a lot of time as well, and feedback, and then the cycle goes over, and then obviously we've added some new features in there, haven't we, and various things that we've done to the product, which is great, and it's definitely enhanced it. But again, I think that is a continuous cycle, even
Mm.
off the back of the seminar I've just been on.
Mm.
That doesn't stop. That whole product market fit doesn't stop even when you get that investment. It's just a continuous cycle of making the product better, and making sure that the market is still sort of wants it, and that's
Mm.
really where we are now. We've got to make sure that the market is right for Orbiter, or Orbiter is right for the market. But I genuinely believe it is, and all of the testing we've done so far has been really positive. A lot of good feedback, and yeah, it's sort of onto that sort of next level really, whilst
Yeah.
continuing that process as well. So in answer to your question, difficult.
Yeah. 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 It's a difficult thing, isn't it? And I think when you get onto evolving evolving the strategy into becoming like a product led growth company, all these iteration cycles do end up compounding, and then suddenly you hit product market fit, and then you get that sort of virality, that growth, and then the product is what does the marketing, and
Mm,
you can sort of take the gas off that the sort of general marketing, the Facebook ads, whatever it may be, because the product is what sells. And you have this network effect of people showing their friends and
yeah,
getting people on,
yeah,
especially within that age demographic.
yeah.
And it becomes a PLG driven startup. And
That's
that's obviously
that's
the
where we
goal.
want to be.
That's where you want to be.
That's the objective now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, it's going to be a sort of a hard slog and transition, but just to get that sort of level of investment that
Yeah.
we want to take it to, like from a pre-seed, C to sort of Series A,
Mm.
B, etc. and beyond, IPOing at trillions of pounds, it's going to take a long
Yeah, yeah.
time. But watch this space, because ultimately,
Get
and
there.
from any entrepreneur and founder, they know is that the buck stops with you. It's only going to ever be driven by you.
Yep.
And you just got all the challenges that you have to face on a day-to-day basis, whilst keeping the lights on as well, with from a financial perspective, because it until you get that level of investment you need, it's a leaky bucket.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, brilliant. Well, Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. Obviously, we'll continue working together behind the scenes.
Look
But
forward to
thank you
it.
for jumping on and sharing your story.
Yeah, no problem at all, Lise. Good to talk.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.